right now.
I'm ABC's Emlyn in Washington. President Zielinski is set to address the UN Security Council in the wake of new evidence of atrocities against Ukrainian civilians at the hand of Russian troops. The latest coming up.
Outside with live cam, very cloudy, very humid. 1 down, 2 to go as far as big Fiesta parades. It wasn't bad last night, just a little on the sticky side. Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about what's happening with our weather this morning. Coming up, it is Tuesday, April 5th.
Hi, thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and get a check with your forecast with Justin. I know you had a sunny weekend, but I mean, yesterday worked out after all.
Yesterday worked out just fine. It was a little humid, yes, but compared to last year, it was just fine for the River Parade. Unfortunately, we did miss out on rain, so that's the fine line we walk, right? We want some rain. We want to just put it in between all these parades and events that we have. We did not get any rain yesterday, still pretty humid. And then today, really the big story is going to be the heat. We're going to see clearing skies and then record heat. The record for today is 93. We're forecasting 95, just to give you some perspective. It's going to be a dry heat, though. And as we get into tomorrow, cold front brings us relief. Thank goodness. Windy and cooler on your Wednesday. And then by Thursday and Friday, we've got beautiful weather. Lows in the 40s. Highs in the 70s and 80s. It'll be really fantastic towards the end of the week. This morning, there has been a ton of severe weather around the Dallas area. It's since moved out, but seeing some severe weather now across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi. They've been under the gun, seems like for several weeks now. Here we go again. We're sitting behind this system where things are fairly quiet and temperatures, yes, are warm. 73 degrees at the airport right now. Still very, very sticky out there. That dry air does not arrive until later this morning. 69 in Kerrville. And looking at 69 Comfort, 70 in Bandera. Here's the forecast for today. And by, say, 8 a.m., we're looking at 69 degrees. By 10 a.m., 75. We're already up to 80, 83 by noontime. And we top out at 94 to 95 this afternoon. There is a very, very small chance of a shower south of San Antonio later this afternoon. But again, the big story, heat today, front tomorrow. We'll talk all about it. Get you set for the rest of the week coming up here in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. Top story this morning, horrifying scenes of death and destruction left behind in war-torn cities outside the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv after Russian troops withdrew into other parts of the country.
Now, the Kremlin is calling the images a hoax as President Biden and NATO allies vow to impose new sanctions against Russia.
ABC's Emlyn has the latest.
This morning, Ukrainian President Zielinski set to address the UN Security Council in the wake of alleged widespread killings of Ukrainian civilians by Russian troops, Zielinski calling it a genocide. It comes a day after his visit to the Kyiv suburb of Bucha, where bodies of civilians were left scattered across streets and buildings, some blindfolded and shot at close range. This man telling Zielinski that he saw 12 people killed who were just riding their bikes or traveling by car. Authorities saying more than 400 people were killed when Russian troops occupied the city. In Borodyanka, another town outside Kyiv, Ukraine's prosecutor general says the numbers may be higher. To the south in Mariupol, the struggle persists, where civilians are still trapped as Russian and Ukrainian forces engage in heavy fighting.
I can tell you without an exaggeration, but with great sorrow, that the situation in Mariupol is much worse compared to what we've seen in Bucha and other cities, towns and villages nearby Kyiv.
Russia denying responsibility, saying the surfacing images are staged. President Biden is vowing to impose more sanctions against Russia and says Vladimir Putin should be tried for war crimes.
He is a war criminal. This guy is brutal. And what's happening in Bucha is outrageous, and everyone's seen it.
U.S. officials warning Russia is shifting troops to Ukraine's east and south.
We should be under no illusions that Russia will adjust its tactics.
France and Germany are now expelling dozens of Russian diplomats. French President Emmanuel Macron is calling on the European Union to consider sanctions against Russian oil and coal. Emlyn, ABC News, Washington.
And out of the pandemic here at home, we remain in the low-risk category. 59 new cases and 1 new death were reported yesterday. The New York Times reported that nationwide, a majority of COVID-19 medications are sitting unused. But infectious disease specialist Dr. Barbara Taylor hasn't seen that, at least within the UT Health San Antonio system.
We found it very useful for our immunocompromised patients. So people who had a kidney transplant, or people who are on treatment for a rheumatologic disease that suppresses their immune system.
And one of those medications is Evusheld, a mix of monoclonal antibodies used to prevent COVID-19. Dr. Taylor says the government has created a website for providers to find out which pharmacies have certain medications.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is under scrutiny. A month-long sweeping review of the agency is set to begin next week. The goal to improve how the agency communicates with the public and consider a restructuring. This comes amid the announcement of a bipartisan plan for COVID-19 relief. It would fund therapeutics like oral antiviral pills, as well as support vaccines, testing, and research. We'll have more on this story a little later in our newscast.
And it was a grand return. The 2022 Texas Cavaliers River Parade was a big success.
Sarah Costa joins us now here in the studio with a recap of all the festivities. Good morning, Sarah.
Hey, good morning. The weather played nice.
Yes.
It was beautiful. So good to see everyone back in person. It was a magical night on the River Walk. The parade drawing a huge crowd, people from all over. Float after float, decked out in lights and music. So whether you're from San Antonio or just stopping by, the parade is fun for all. The money raised by the Texas Cavaliers Charitable Foundation goes to support over 70 children's charities.
There's no comparison. You got to experience it live.
So exciting to see the city come out here, celebrate for Fiesta, and just come out and celebrate and be all together again.
That's the novelty, is the parade on the water. None of us have ever seen that. I've been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. I've been to multiple parades, but nothing like this.
Viva Fiesta!
So 12 service members, 1,200 first responders, and 800 children were invited to watch the parade for free. But hey, it doesn't end there. Starting tonight at night in Old San Antonio, or NIOSA, will welcome Fiesta crowds through Friday. The food and fun will raise money to help conserve historic properties and advocate for education. Yesterday, organizers hung the rain rock in hopes of warding off any bad weather for NIOSA. It's a tradition started back in the 70s. And right now on our website, everything you need to know about the changes at NIOSA this year. It will be back at La Villita. Gates open at 5:30 and close at 10:30 p.m. each night. There will be plenty of food, music, and drinks. And there are some things to know before you head out. For instance, cashless wristbands will be required to purchase food and drinks on the grounds, and the layout will change due to construction. We have all those details, of course, on KSAT.com. Mark and Steph.
Got to factor in the construction pretty much anywhere in San Antonio these days.
I know. And the parade routes also changing because of construction this year. But of course, we have all those changes on KSAT.com.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it, Sarah. 4:38, about 72 degrees.
And we're getting ready to cheer on our San Antonio Spurs just ahead of preview of their matchup against the Nuggets.
Outside with TransGuide right now. Let's see how things are looking out there on your early Tuesday morning. We've got a few headlights and brake lights out there, but things are running smoothly on all these camera shots.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we're starting humid today at 72 degrees, and we'll be getting a little warmer later this afternoon. We'll be right back.
In morning sports, the NCAA men's basketball tournament is in the books, and it was a good one. First-ranked Kansas Jayhawks edged the 8th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels in the national title game last night. Final score, Kansas wins 72-69. And from college hoops to the pros, our Spurs in Denver for a game tonight, starting their final 4 games of the regular season. The Spurs are fighting to secure that 10th and final play-in position with a chance to possibly move up to number 9. That's following losses by both the Pelicans and the Lakers on Sunday. Any combination of Spurs wins or Lakers losses guarantees the Spurs at the very least that 10th and final play-in position. So tip-off between the Spurs and Nuggets is 8 o'clock tonight up in Denver. The Nuggets currently sit in 5th place in the Western Conference and are looking to clinch a playoff spot. It should be a great game. Go Spurs, go.
Yes, go Spurs, go. Time now, 4:42 and 72 degrees for now. And just ahead on GMSA, tips to free up some storage space on your phone without sacrificing your data.
In this morning's GMA First Look, Elon Musk's billion-dollar bombshell. The world's richest man, now the largest individual shareholder of Twitter. The enigmatic founder of Tesla and SpaceX disclosing Monday a 9.2% stake in the social media giant. The news sending Twitter stock soaring, up more than 27%.
And Musk doesn't put one toe in the water. He dives into the deep end of the pool.
For now, Musk is a passive investor in the company, but that could change.
I believe this is something that started to become a pet project for him, and it's actually become more and more strategic. And that potentially could end up with Elon Musk having some sort of ownership, potentially of its entirety, of Twitter.
So, what does this mean for the future of Twitter? It's all coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
Well, decluttering your phone is annoying when it happens. You go to take great photos, but you can't because you get an alert that your storage is actually full.
Well, 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz on some quick and easy ways to clear out the excess stuff so you and your phone can get back to business.
Marissa Malvetti loves taking pictures of her kids, but they started filling up her phone.
I bought a phone with 256 gigs of storage because I was constantly running into this issue where I maxed out my phone storage and couldn't use the phone anymore.
Sound familiar? There are easy ways to free up storage without sacrificing data.
The first thing you need to do is look into your phone and see what's actually taking up so much space.
For Androids, go to Settings, Battery and Device Care, Storage. For iPhones, it's Settings, General, iPhone Storage. If photos are hogging space, you can offload photos and videos to cloud-based storage such as iCloud or Google Photos, or move them to a computer or external hard drive. You can also optimize photos. That means full-resolution pics are stored on the cloud, while smaller versions remain on your phone. If music is what you're hoarding, think streaming instead. Same for podcasts. For some people, the issue is apps.
All of a sudden, I'm running out of space, and it's because I have these old apps that I don't even use anymore.
You can delete old apps or just offload them. That way you get rid of them, but can download again and pick up where you left off. And don't forget your text messages. All of those videos and photos and GIFs you share, they take up a lot of space. iPhone users like Marissa can clear out the big text attachments on the storage screen and have more space for more kid pics. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Let's check traffic. It's still early. I glanced at the maps, didn't see any accidents, but still early out there. Not too many folks on the road. Looking live at 410 and Starcrest.
And we got really lucky with the weather.
We did. I saw some storms on the fringes of our viewing area last night, but it seemed that was about it, Justin.
That was it. We had one severe thunderstorm warning out in Valverde County, just narrowly missed Del Rio. They didn't get much rain there. There was a little bit of severe weather just to the north of Del Rio, but by and large, we escaped without any issues at the River Parade. I want to show you the big picture here across Texas. Nothing where we are, but there is a lot of severe weather as you go east. There were some big-time storms in Dallas. Now that's all shifting to parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. That's where it will be an active day. For us, we're going to see things actually dry out. It is very humid at the moment. We will get some drier air later this afternoon. Here's a little closer look at some of those severe storms that are working into parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. That'll be a busy area today. For us, temperature sitting at 73 degrees, 76 Stinson, 73 Kelly, 73 at Randolph. At the moment, looking at a southerly wind, it becomes more westerly this afternoon, and you know what that means. Dry air gets shoved in here, and that will allow temperatures to really soar. 73 in New Braunfels, 73 Gonzales, 67 Hondo. It is cloudy at the moment. A little closer look here, 73 Castroville, 73 down in Pleasanton, and 71 in Bulverde. Here's a look at the dew points, and this number is important. Dew points close to 70. That is oppressive. It is extremely sticky out there. Here's where things begin to change. So this is the big picture, and we're going to take this forward in time to about 5, 6 o'clock. Notice the dry line has come through. Dew points drop off into the 40s. We could see very dry air out west, and all that humid air gets shoved east. This does a couple of things. Dries us out, yes, but we got those westerly winds, and then the fire danger, unfortunately, comes back into play, especially for our western counties. So these areas highlighted in pink, those are where places where we could see fires spread very easily. And I think as we get into tomorrow, winds pick up even more for all of us. There's going to be a fire danger area-wide. Dew points they really do fall off going into tomorrow. 28, 21, the dew point. It gets very, very dry until about Saturday, and then humidity begins to increase again. And hopefully, by the time we get into Sunday, we have some more rain chances. Man, at this point, we just keep crossing our fingers and we'll get something. We need rain in the worst way. Temperatures today, by noontime, we're already at 83. Skies have cleared by this point, sunny skies. And then look at these afternoon highs. 95 here in San Antonio. The record is 93. I think there will be a few places pushing 100. Now, a few of the models do want to develop some showers, maybe a storm or two to the south of San Antonio. It's possible, not likely. There is about a 10% chance of a shower or storm later today. And then as we get into tomorrow, this is the good news. Okay, we get a cold front coming through. This is 7 o'clock. Drops temperatures into the 60s. And look at the highs or temperatures by noon tomorrow, close to 70, and we'll only top out near 80 tomorrow. So big difference on Wednesday. High temperatures today, 95. Tomorrow, 79, 80 degrees. That'll be the case Thursday, too. And then it does warm up a little bit, but it's a dry heat going into the weekend. So here's the extended forecast. And there's not a lot here until you get into Sunday, and that's when we bring rain chances back. 20% chance Sunday, 20% chance Monday. At this point, it's hard to be optimistic when it comes to rain, but at least the timing's okay here. We get both the parades through with some pretty good weather, and then the rain comes back into the forecast.
Well, that works out.
It does. Although, if we don't get some rain soon, things are, it's not going to be good. The aquifer is still dropping like a rock.
Yeah, the expectation's not great, is it?
Yep.
All right, thank you, Justin. 4:51 right now, about 72 degrees.
And he's a skating legend. When we come back, a preview of Tony Hawk's new documentary.
All right, here are your lottery numbers. Then we have a scheduled emergency alert system test coming up going to the break. But first up, pick 3 numbers, 852, Fireball 3. Daily 4 numbers, 1, 2, 2, 5, Fireball 7.
Cash 5, 1, 10, 15, 18, 21. And your Texas 2-step, 18, 22, 27, 30. Bonus ball 1. And your Powerball numbers, 2, 32, 39, 46, 69. Powerball 6, Power Play 2. Good luck.
I was obsessed and I became a machine.
When you think of skateboarding, chances are the iconic skater Tony Hawk comes to mind. In his new HBO documentary, Until the Wheels Fall Off, premiering today, the skating legend journeys through his early days to becoming one of the most well-known skateboarders of all time. We're now hearing from some of the big winners from this year's Grammys. Singer-songwriter Jasmine Sullivan picking up her first golden trophies for Best R&B Album and Best R&B Performance.
I've been wanting to win a Grammy since I was a kid. And after losing so many times, I feel like I kind of gave up. So it's surreal to be able to actually hold these babies right now.
John Batiste topping the night with 5 trophies.
Leave the door open.
Silk Sonic with Song of the Year. And the Grammys aren't the only show boasting an all-star performance lineup. This year's Electric Zoo making a long-awaited return this summer. The EDM Festival unveiling its lineup, including Diplo, DJ Snake, Cheat Codes, and more. And we may not talk about Bruno, but we'll soon be able to see him. Starting next week, the front of Disneyland's It's a Small World ride will transform into a show featuring Encanto's hit song, We Don't Talk About Bruno. And happy birthday to artist Pharrell Williams. The award-winning super producer turns 49 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Morgan Norwood, ABC News.
And time now, 4:57 and 72 degrees for now.
We have a lot more heading your way in the next half hour, including a popular online game raising millions for those in Ukraine.
And another look at the roads with TransGuide. Things were looking good earlier. Right now, pretty quiet. I-35 at Loop 410 and I-35 at New Braunfels. Stephen Cavazos just walked in the studio. We'll be talking with him very soon.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Lots of clouds, lots of humidity. We're only down to 72 degrees in the overnight hours. Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, April 5th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Happy Tuesday. Yesterday worked out kind of nice.
It did. Storms stayed away just in time for the Texas Cavaliers River Parade, which went off without a hitch. Justin is in for Mike this morning.
Yeah, and it looked awesome, by the way. I know they had a lot of fun down there. The floats looked incredible. Loved it. Loved that the weather cooperated, too. Things are very humid this morning, as Mark and Steph pointed out. 73 degrees at the airport, 69 Kerrville, 65 Uvalde. Yeah, it's humid now and cloudy, but that all changes this afternoon. Dry air pours in from the west, and that does a lot for our temperatures. It really boosts those numbers. We're going to be up around 95, and that may sound hot to you. It is. It's going to be a record if we get there. The record high today is 93. So we may blow it out of the water. The good news is that we get some relief coming up tomorrow. Cold front comes through, turns windy, and then by Thursday we're looking at highs in the 70s, which is fantastic, still with sunny skies. As we look at the pollen count, this was yesterday's number. Oak is still in full swing here, 1,310. You can expect that number to stay high through really the rest of April. It will probably be in the high category again today. Everything else was low. Temperature-wise, 73, as we said, at the airport, 69 Kerrville, some 50s up around Junction where the air is a little bit drier. 70 in Comfort, 72 Castroville in the forecast for today. We'll get into the low 70s, or 80s, I should say, by noontime, 83 degrees, 86 by 1 p.m., and then there are those hot temperatures, 95. Now, there is an outside chance for a shower or storm south and west of San Antonio, but for the most part, it's going to be a sunny, hot day. We'll talk more about that cold front and some rain chances coming up down the line here in just a little bit. We got to get over to Steven now with an early check of that morning commute.
It's been looking pretty decent so far, Justin. Right now, 281 at San Pedro. We're seeing some quiet roads and very light traffic in a lot of these shots from TransGuide. US 90 at Couples. Not really seeing a lot of activity out there. Talked to our friends over at TransGuide this morning. There was a stalled Via bus out there off US 90 in Nogalitos. Thankfully, it does look like the driver did receive some assistance, but still have some issues out there in terms of road work and closures. We're going to get to that a little bit later on in the newscast. But right now, if you have to head out the door, you're not going to see anything that's going to impact your morning commute in terms of congestion or slowdowns. Right now, we get that wide look at the map of the metro area at 5:03. No delays just yet. And the same goes for these inbound times. If you're traveling into San Antonio from any of these communities, 24 minutes from Burnett on I-10 eastbound to downtown, 27 on 281 southbound and Bulverde, and 26 minutes traveling in from 35 and New Braunfels. So no delays just yet, but we'll watch the roads closely and give you more updates coming up a little bit later on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Police need your help finding a man wanted on several charges who's believed to be in San Antonio. Sarah Costa is live in the studio with what we know about him. Sarah?
Hey, good morning, Stephanie. This man has a long list of charges he is wanted for. One for making terroristic threats. Just take a look at your screen to see if you recognize this man. This is 38-year-old Joaquin Salgado. From his mugshot, he has a dark beard and a shaved head. The Texas Department of Public Safety says Salgado is believed to be in San Antonio, possibly near the Tesoro Hills area. That's on the city's southwest side near Pearsall Park. DPS says Salgado is wanted for several charges, including failing to register as a sex offender, human smuggling, assault, and for making terroristic threats. If you know where he is, you're urged to call that number. It is 210-531-2280 and make contact with authorities. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, ma'am. This morning, San Antonio police looking for a shooting suspect.
19-year-old Avante Boyce's body was found behind an apartment complex on Hayes Street last Thursday, and his father is a local pastor who dedicated his life to stopping violence and gang crime.
He shared his message for the community with our Patty Santos.
I will never again be able to receive a call from my son.
Pastor Daryl Boyce has ministered to many who've lost their children to gun violence and gangs in his community. Today, it was his turn.
His mother will never be able to hold him again.
On Thursday, 19-year-old Davante Boyce, his only son, was shot multiple times and killed outside this East Side apartment. Just a few blocks away, today, friends and family released balloons and prayed for a stop to gun violence.
We have to teach our young men and women that it's not worth it.
The mourning father is calling for healing and an end to the killings.
But our goal today is to save a life. It couldn't be my son's, but it could be your son or your daughter's.
The community is scared. They're scared of the youth because of how they see the youth out here running wild and crazy.
This week, community leader and Big Mama Safe House representative Benny Price is launching a weekly community anti-gun violence coalition to help the community unite in peace and understanding.
You tend to treat people that you don't know a lot more harshly. And also, then when gun violence come into play, you're not just going to pull that trigger on somebody that you know.
Boyce's death hit Price hard. He talked to the father of two about his goals the day before the shooting.
And you should have seen the smile on his face. You should have seen his enthusiasm about his plans for the future.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
And police are still looking for a suspect in this murder. So far, they have only said that the suspect is 56 years old. As for Big Mama Safe House, its first community anti-gun violence meeting will be held later this week. You can read more about this story on our website at ksat.com.
Russia is facing a fresh wave of condemnation after what appeared to be deliberate killings of civilians in Ukraine. Some Western leaders call for further sanctions in response to the allegations. Germany's defense minister suggesting the European Union discuss a ban on Russian gas imports. Ukrainian officials say the bodies of more than 400 civilians were found in the towns around the capital of Kyiv. Look for the very latest on this story coming up on Good Morning America beginning at 7.
A voyage to nowhere continues to create problems off the coast of Maryland. A cargo ship hasn't budged in weeks, and now a law from 1890 is being invoked in the effort to free it. The Ever Forward is reportedly the largest ship to ever get stuck in the Chesapeake Bay. The operation to offload those containers and refloat the ship is expected to take 2 weeks.
The United Nations sounding the alarm on global warming. The third and final installment of the 6th UN Intergovernmental panel on climate change report says the world is heading towards an environmental disaster. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says the report indicates the global temperature could surpass 3 Celsius degrees warmer than pre-industrial levels by the end of the century. The report also says solutions like wind and solar in their current forms are robust enough to prevent that fate. It goes on to blame politics and fossil fuel interests for standing in the way.
Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski and Mitt Romney say they will vote to confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's historic nomination to the Supreme Court, giving President Joe Biden's nominee a new burst of bipartisan support to become the first black woman on the high court. The senators from Alaska and Utah announced their decisions Monday evening ahead of a procedural vote that advanced the nomination to the full Senate. Democrats are pushing to confirm Jackson by the end of the week.
Right now, 5:08, about 72 degrees.
And still to come, researchers have discovered a hidden app that can record audio and track your location. Details ahead in your morning consumer news.
It's National Public Health Week. After the break, how the city is working to expand public health initiatives.
And taking a look outside with live cam. It's humid now, but it's going to be hot later. We're going to be checking in with Justin very soon. Welcome back. It's 5:12. The city of San Antonio is marking National Public Health Week by spreading the word about its 5-year plan for mental health.
Branded SA Forward, the plan revolves around expanding public health initiatives. Garrett Berger tells us what you can expect.
For 2 years, the city's conversations about public health have mostly revolved around one issue, the pandemic. But that does not mean other health issues plaguing the city went away, such as the high rate of diabetes in parts of San Antonio.
Whether you had an underlying condition, whether you suffer from domestic violence, all those things that made COVID worse for people, that's what we're addressing through this.
The SA Forward plan, which city staff and elected officials announced on the steps of City Hall, includes 6 priority areas like mental health, violence prevention, and access to care.
SA Forward is about ensuring that healthy people have an opportunity to thrive in a healthy community.
Goals include expanding the use of a mental health team as an alternative to 911, implementing a program to ID people with the highest risk of perpetrating or experiencing domestic violence, and expanding a program to provide healthy food at corner stores. All of it by the end of September 2026. The city's already taken some steps, like launching an online dashboard with health information about the community.
The interactive platform allows residents to stay informed about health and how the burden of disease affects their neighborhoods.
Growing programs will cost money, and the vast majority of Metro Health's budget already comes from outside grant dollars.
Part of the conversation the council had during last year's budget was making sure that we commit to enhancing that local funding part as we go forward.
We'll see if the city council continues on that path as they begin talking about the city budget at a goal-setting session next week. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Just about 5:14, 72 degrees.
And Google is offering employees a new way to get around. That's next in your Morning Tech Bites.
Medusa lived with a hideous curse. I mean, the whole turning people to stone thing was a bit of a buzzkill, right? So she ordered sunglasses with Prime, one-day delivery. Clever girl. People realise she's actually hilarious once you get to know her. Ugh, as if... Well, he was asking for it. Prime changes everything.
Nurse Mariam Sabo knows a moment this pure demands a lotion this pure. New Gold Bond Pure Moisture Lotion. 24-hour hydration. No parabens, dyes, or fragrances. Gold Bond. Champion your skin.
Panera chefs have crafted a masterpiece. Succulent seared chicken. A secret aioli. Clean ingredients. In a buttery brioche roll. Made fresh to leave you speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Enjoy a free drink when you try one.
In today's Tech Bites, something dangerous hiding on your Android device. A cyber group discovered malware called Project Manager. The app tracks your location and can even record audio. Researchers say it has all the hallmarks of tech used by state-sponsored Russian hackers. The developer of Fortnite has just ended its 2-week fundraising drive for Ukraine relief efforts. Epic Games says $144 million in proceeds from the game will be going to several aid groups, including the United Nations Children's Fund and the World Food Program. A new perk for Google employees who are now used to working from home. Free scooters. The company is offering full reimbursement for the monthly fee of an electric scooter that retails for about $1,000. So I guess if you're late to work, now you can blame it on being too tired. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Do we email him? Do we call him? Do we?
I don't know. Sometimes he's got good jokes. And...
Or would he be like, no, I've been watching you guys and I've been thinking about emailing you?
Yeah, let's just leave him alone.
We'll leave Andrew Dimbert alone. All right, do your thing. You be you.
Yes.
5:18 right now.
Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that one. It didn't land for me. You know, it didn't land for me. But of course, we will give him another try a little bit later on. Let's take a look at our roadways. Unfortunately, we do have a crash that popped up here off 37 at I-10. Is a view from TransGuide. Getting a wide look, you can see that we do have a Y here that's kind of impeding our view, but we are seeing some flashing lights out in the distance there, and what looks like it could be getting onto the connecting ramp of 37. Let's bring you to the map because where that's being reported is there off I-10 eastbound at I-37. Again, on that connecting ramp there, we're not seeing a slowdown, but we're going to watch that area closely. Just remember, move over or slow down when you see those flashing lights. Let's take a drive over here because there is some drainage work that has been taking place here off I-10. Now, keep in mind, we're seeing a slowdown in these eastbound lanes of I-10. However, TxDOT has that drainage work listed in the westbound lanes that started on Monday and will continue all the way up until April 14th. Keep in mind the westbound exit ramp at FM 1518 will be closed and traffic will be diverted to the exit at FM 2538. Wide view of the map doesn't show any other problems, but remember that QR code we brought up yesterday. We're going to pop it up again. If you want to find out any of the latest closures in your area, traffic stories, you can scan that QR code and that will take you directly to the KSAT traffic page. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, it's a cool app. We tried it out yesterday.
Yes, and we have all our stories on there, and potholes are another big thing. I talked to the city yesterday about their efforts to clear these things up, and of course, it's a lot of the residents have that in their hands. Call 311, and we have that information on our website as well.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Stephen. And expecting a hot day today.
Yeah, so if you're making NIOSA plans, okay, you got to think about the heat today. It is going to be warm. A lot of people are thinking, maybe I'll wait till that cold front comes through. But, you know, the trade-off, If you go today, maybe the line for chicken on sticks a little shorter.
That's also
Things
true.
to think about.
Don't count on it, but that's possible.
Things to think about.
I think it's always a long line.
That's right. Drought conditions continue, guys. We've gone 61 straight days now since we've had a quarter of an inch of rain or more. That's a pretty significant stat. And since October 28th, we've only picked up 4.55 inches of rain here in San Antonio. These numbers are just not good at all. And as you might imagine, the aquifer is dropping like a rock. We are closing in on stage 2. We're not quite there yet. The all-important number is this 10-day rolling average. It's still above 650. But as of this morning, the aquifer did drop below 650, so it may be a couple of days here before we head into stage 2. And what's the difference? Of course, stage 1, you're once a week watering before 11 a.m. or after 7 p.m. When you get into stage 2, it's once a week watering 7 to 11 a.m. and 7 to 11 p.m. So just some small changes there. It's still once a week watering, depending on your address. But that's where we're headed because of this dry stretch that we've been in. And we just missed out on rain yesterday. There were a couple storms out near Del Rio, but we did not see anything here. And now that weather is shifting east. Severe weather for parts of Louisiana and Mississippi today. Still, East Texas is dealing with some stronger storms. We have cleared out. Well, at least the rain has moved away. The clouds are still there, and they'll be there for a while longer before we will completely clear out as we head towards the afternoon. Right now, 73 degrees and cloudy at the airports. West-southwesterly winds at about 5, and that dew point close to 70. It is extremely muggy. 69 Kerrville, 68 Hondo, 73 Pleasanton. As you look a little closer, 70 Bernie Stage. Here at 73 in New Braunfels with those cloudy skies, and dew points are right there around 70 degrees. Now, there is a dry line off to our west. This slides through today, and when it does, that dry air shoves in here pretty quickly by this afternoon. We get a westerly wind, and that is always a wind that's going to warm us up and bring some pretty hot temperatures, and that's exactly what's going to play out today. Now, with gusty winds and this kind of dry air, we do have a fire threat, and so red flag warnings are posted for all of West Texas, but this does include part of the hill country, Bandera, Kerrville, Lakey, Rock Springs. Those areas could see a pretty significant fire threat today, so we got to be careful. It's going to spread over everyone tomorrow, that red flag warning, I'm guessing, with some gusty winds in our forecast. Here's a look at the temperatures. By noontime, we're already at 83. By this afternoon, 95. The record today is 93. I think we beat that record. A lot of places will see record heat. And then tonight, we fall back down into the 60s. Here comes our cold front. Thank goodness, because by tomorrow, highs will only be near 80 degrees. This is noontime tomorrow, right around 70. Feels a lot better, and we still have that dry air in place. So the weather looks great for Thursday and Friday, but the next couple days, 95, switching down to 80 tomorrow, and then 79 on Thursday and sunny after a morning low of 48, 46 Friday morning. Battle of Flowers. What time is it in the morning? It's like, what, 10 a.m.?
About 9.
Vanguard, 8:55,
Okay.
Parade, 9:30.
Yeah,
according to our program here that I'm
thinking
we're looking at.
60s when the parade gets underway?
Really?
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, really?
We'll
really.
take it.
So you were talking about maybe needing a sweater?
Well, for our earlier
broadcast,
live
yeah.
shots when we talked to you guys about the Battle of Flowers.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
So let's do that.
Yeah, we'll be prepared for that.
That's awesome.
It'll be nice.
Yeah.
What a change.
Thank you, Justin. Got it. 9:23, about 72 degrees.
And a new Trek series shows us the Enterprise before Captain Kirk. After the break, a preview in your morning Spotlight News.
Lottery numbers, pick 3, 852, Fireball 3, Daily 4, 1225, Fireball 7.
Cash 5, 1, 10, 15, 18, 21. And Texas two-step, 18, 22, 27, 30, bonus ball 1. And your Powerball numbers, 2, 32, 39, 46, 69, Powerball 6, Power Play 2. Good luck.
This is your captain. Our mission. To chart the stars.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds is beaming down to Paramount Plus. Set on board the Starship Enterprise before the Captain Kirk era, the series stars Anson Mount as Captain Christopher Pike, Rebecca Romaine as Number 1, and Ethan Peck as Mr. Spock. The new Trek begins May 5th.
With meat consumption expected to double by 2050, we urgently need solutions. welcome to the next agricultural revolution.
Jane Goodall narrates Meet the Future. That's MEAT. The documentary follows the pursuit of growing real meat from animal cells without needing to breed, raise, and slaughter animals. Goodall says it would reduce water and land use, methane, animal suffering, and future viral outbreaks. Meet the Future debuts Tuesday on digital platforms. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
That looks interesting.
It's very interesting.
528, 72 degrees.
And new details in the race to fight COVID ahead in our next half hour, what we are learning from lawmakers about the plan for relief. And taking a look outside with live cam, we're starting off humid but braced for the heat later today.
And a good morning to you. It's Tuesday, April 5th.
Thanks for joining us. So yesterday, the weather worked out for the Texas Cavaliers River Parade, and today it'll work out for the most part for Niosa, but it's going to be hot.
It is going to feel a little bit more like June, maybe July out there today in many parts of the area. Justin Horn is going to figure out where he's at in the studio and then talk to us momentarily. Hey, there you are. Hi there.
I literally walked like a mile around.
You just got in 15,000 steps in 1 hour.
We're good. I get confused sometimes.
Good to see you.
Anyway, pollen count. If you missed it earlier, oak is in the high category, 1,310. We are in the midst of oak season, and it has really been high as of late. These numbers are going to keep probably staying right there in that territory with the oak trees really starting to show now. Mold, hackberry, grass, mulberry, all in the low category. Temperatures at this hour, 69 Kerrville, 73 New Braunfels, 68 in Hondo, 73 Pleasanton. If you're walking outside, it's humid, it's muggy, it's warm. If you're dressing for today, shorts and t-shirts for sure, because we're expecting some record highs a little bit later this afternoon. 71 Canyon Lake, 73 in New Braunfels, 72 right now in Castroville. And our forecast for today, mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. There could be a couple sprinkles this morning, but I don't anticipate much at all. By noontime, we're at 83, 86 by 1 p.m., and then we're all the way up to 95 by 5 p.m. Now, you do see a rain chance there. There is a very, very small outside chance of a storm developing south and west of San Antonio. Those chances are very low, though. Most of us sunny and dry. We've got a westerly wind, and there is a fire danger across parts of the hill country. We'll talk more about that. And the good news, this is just a one-day thing. We get a front tomorrow. Changes on the way for your Wednesday. That forecast coming up in just a bit, but one person who knows exactly where to be, Stephen, is here with Looking at Traffic.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of walking around. I kind of just stay to what I know. But what we are continuing to watch here, we changed our TransGuide cameras up, but we're going to keep it here at 37 at I-10 just for a little while because we do have a crash that was reported out there earlier this morning, and you can see we still have some first responders that are out there in what looks like a towing truck. So hopefully we'll be seeing the end of this pretty soon. But I was talking to our friends over at TransGuide. What they're telling us is that on-ramp to 37 is partially blocked. The crash being reported at I-10 again at the on-ramp, connecting ramp that is, to 37. So again, watch out in that direction. But let's go ahead and push out of the map and show you how we're looking at 533. Not spotting any slowdowns or congestion anywhere else, but you can see that there's still plenty of construction that's happening out there this morning. So you got to make sure that you are driving carefully and plan ahead. But make sure that you also take it easy out on the roads. No need to travel super fast if you're coming in from any of these areas to downtown San Antonio. I-10 pretty green from Seguin in those westbound lanes with 29 minutes at this hour. 21 if you're traveling in from 87 northbound in Lavernia, and 27 coming in from Floresville. So no need to worry there, but we'll watch this crash closely. 37 at I-10. Again, that connecting ramp is partially closed. We're seeing vehicles make their way through there without really any trouble. But again, as a reminder, watch out for those first responders. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Beware of fraudsters. That's the message from USAA. Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio to tell us about a scam involving the San Antonio-based insurance giant. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. So USA is alerting the public that there is a scam pretending to be USA to get your personal information. Here's what we know about this so far. It says someone pretending to be from the bank is calling people, then trying to get them to share passwords or other personal information. According to USAA, the fraudsters are asking if you have made any large out-of-state charges. When you reply no, the scammers then say your account has been compromised. That's when they'll ask for passwords to make updates. The fraudsters may even be using spoofing software to make it appear that they are calling from USAA's 1-800 number. A reminder, USAA will never call or email you and ask for your PIN number, password, or other personal information. So when in doubt, call the number on USAA's website yourself. So while USAA says it uses sophisticated detection processes, they are asking members to monitor their account activity on a regular basis. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Police in Seguin are looking for the person who killed one woman and left one man injured. Officers tell us that the shooting is connected to another one that happened yesterday. One shooting took place on Mockingbird Lane. A home was hit, but no one was injured there. Then another shooting happened 2 miles away on Vaughn Avenue, and that's where two people were shot near a park. One victim is a 19-year-old man. The other, we're told, an 18-year-old woman. Police say her name was Michaelan Ann Marie Smith. She was killed. The 19-year-old man was rushed to the hospital. Police have not arrested anyone.
People living just east of downtown San Antonio have been worried about the uptick of fires in their neighborhood. That's why they met with Fire Chief Charles Hood last night at the Ella Austin Community Center. Chief says since October, firefighters have responded to 39 fires on the east side of town. 8 were intentionally set. Of those, the fire department investigating 2 that are similar. Some people are asking whether an arsonist is responsible. Here's what the chief had to say.
There's not a serial arsonist in the city of San Antonio, but we have had an uptick in fires of about 26%. We've also had 10 fire fatalities this fiscal year, which last year was, probably 5 to 7.
Chief Hood says if you notice anything suspicious, call police. If you have security cameras that capture a fire, share that video with detectives or investigators. If you have any questions, call 311. And he says if you need a smoke alarm, call 211. Just about 5:37, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is under scrutiny. This comes after a month-long sweeping review of the agency is set to begin next week.
The director says it could result in restructuring. That news comes the same day as the announcement of a bipartisan plan for COVID-19 relief.
As CNN's Amy Kiley reports, that funding bill would not send any money directly to the CDC.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is used to scrutinizing science. Now the agency itself is under the microscope. Director Dr. Rochelle Zielinski says the Department of Health will conduct a sweeping review starting next Monday. In a memo to staff, Zielinski says it's to improve how the agency communicates with the public and consider a restructuring. That news comes the same day as a bipartisan deal Senator Mitt Romney helped negotiate for his chamber. It's for $10 billion of COVID relief money. The measure would fund therapeutics like oral antiviral pills, and it would support vaccines, testing, and research. What it would not do is send money directly to the CDC. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he wants to vote on the measure this week.
On COVID, very briefly, over the last few days, my Democratic colleagues and I continued talks with Senator Romney and Republicans, working all hours of the night and into the weekend.
This is clearly a huge focus for the president because of the dire need we have at this moment to get this funding through.
The White House says it would like more money in the plan.
Even as we're very encouraged by the progress, we're going to need more because our objective here is to make sure we can have funding for antivirals, the vaccines needed for people for many months to come.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
5:38, 72 degrees.
A woman with a rare disorder that prevents her from smiling speaking out this morning. After the break, her inspiring message to others.
Outside with live cam, very humid, 72 degrees, a hot day ahead. How high will temperatures go? We'll talk to Justin coming up. 5:41, a young woman will soon be working it for the camera, which for her will be a dream come true.
It's a dream that, despite all odds, she refused to give up on. ABC's Will Gans has her story.
To anyone who doesn't know me, I would just say I'm the girl who can't smile.
Despite a physical inability to smile, Taylor Clement is the physical embodiment of joy.
I love being able to help others and empower and inspire others. It lights me up so much, and if I could smile, you'd see the biggest smile on my face when I talk about it, because it honestly, truly lights me up so much.
The New Zealand native known online as the girl who can't smile born with a 1 in 4 million neurological disorder called Mobius Syndrome.
My eyebrows don't move, my eyes don't track from left to right, and my upper lip doesn't move, which means I can't smile, hence the name, The Girl Who Can't Smile.
The 24-year-old recently signing with an international modeling agency.
What was that moment like when you got the call from the modeling agency and they were like, Taylor, we want you?
To be so openly accepted and wanted, just, felt so amazing.
But for Taylor, this is more than photo shoots and catwalks.
I had no one to see in movies or in the media or on the front of magazines. And so I felt really worthless and not accepted because I didn't see myself anywhere.
This modeling contract and newfound platform is about visibility, and it's about joy.
For so many of us, a smile is how we indicate joy and happiness. What does joy and happiness mean to you, Taylor?
That's a big question. It's another level of joy and happiness to be so content and comfortable and joyful and happy within who you are as a person. It's also the most freeing thing in the world.
As if being a model and a motivational powerhouse isn't enough, Taylor is a para-athlete setting records at New Zealand National Shot Put Championships. You can find her on social media at Taylor Clement. Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
5:43.
Fiesta Fun continues here on GMSA. After the break, a recap of the Cavaliers River Parade and a preview of Nyosa. And it was a grand return. The 2022 Texas Cavaliers River Parade drawing huge crowds.
KSAT's Lee Waldman has a recap of last night's festivities.
Viva Fiesta!
Back and better than ever, the 2022 Texas Cavalier River Parade attracting thousands of people from all over.
Green, Colorado.
Homer, Maryland, Columbia, Maryland, Laurel, Maryland, Fairfax, Virginia.
You don't have those things in Belgium.
And those who call San Antonio home and are seeing the parade in person for the first time.
There's no comparison. You got to experience it live.
It's so exciting to see the city come out here, celebrate for Fiesta, and just come out and celebrate and be all together again.
All of the money raised by the Texas Cavaliers Charitable Foundation goes to support local children's charities. While the attendees are from all walks of life, they all agree the unique beauty of the parade sets it apart.
That's the novelty, is the parade on the water. None of us have ever seen that. I've been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. I've been to multiple parades, but nothing like this.
Viva Fiesta!
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
And starting tonight, Night in Old San Antonio, or Nyosa, will welcome Fiesta crowds through Friday. The food and fun will help raise money to conserve historic properties and advocate for education. Yesterday, organizers hung the world-famous rain rock, the hopes of warding off bad weather for Nyosa, and so far it's working. That's a tradition that started way back in the 1970s.
And right now on our website, everything you need to know about the changes at Nyosa this year. It will be back at La Villita, but it'll look a little different. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. and close at 10:30 p.m. each day. And there will be plenty of food, music, drinks, and there are some things to know before you head out. For example, cashless wristbands will be required to purchase food and drinks on the grounds, and the layout will change due to construction. We're going to have all the details on our website at ksat.com.
Well, I think Steph will agree. It is one of the hottest Fiesta medals in town. Very hard to get, but we are giving them away every morning. All you need to do is watch GMSA, and we'll have that location coming up a little bit later on in this newscast. Don't forget to catch us Friday morning for Battle Flowers, starting live coverage around 9 a.m. right here on KSAT.
Yeah, very exciting. Love Fiesta. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos to see how the roads are looking this morning.
Yeah, this is my first Fiesta too. Yay. I've been here for over 2 years, almost 3, and obviously didn't get to experience it the first year. We had an abbreviated version last year, so I am so excited for Fiesta this year. So
I hope you have some fun.
Yeah. I will definitely stay up late one of these days, and I'll make it here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Let's get a look at the roads right now. Things look like they are improving in some areas, and we are seeing some light traffic starting to build up there off 281 at San Pedro, but nothing to be worried about, especially if you have to head out the door maybe in the next few minutes or so. But be on the lookout. As we get that wide scope of the map, we're not really seeing any slowdowns just yet, but we are seeing some progress. There was a crash that was reported right there off I-10 eastbound on the connecting ramp to 37. Just check the corner corner of my eye at these TransGuide cameras, it does look like that crash is thankfully cleared out. So that's some good news. But make sure you are planning your commute, especially a little bit later this morning, because happening in I-10 up toward Kendall County, this started on Monday. There is a 3-week closure, and that should be lasting up until May. But right now, that starts at 9 a.m. And keep in mind, drivers, the westbound entrance ramp from Bandera Road is going to be closed there. Detour down to the eastbound frontage road lane. Of course, we do have that information posted on our website at KSAT.com. Guys?
Thank you, sir.
I love the Fiesta background behind you for NIOSA.
Yeah, we're trying to get in the spirit here in the weather department. NIOSA, as you guys pointed out, starts tonight. Weather looks good. I say good. It's going to be hot around 5 o'clock. You're heading out there when things open. Maybe you wait a little bit. 8 p.m. we get a pretty quick cool down because the air will be dry. These temperatures will fall off after sunset, which is at 7:55, and by 10 p.m. we're in the upper 70s. So it feels a little bit better out there, and then tomorrow is going to be fantastic. With some cooler temperatures on the way because of a cold front. Here's the big picture. Storm system moving east. Look at all the severe weather reports. Those squares you see right there, those are all severe weather reports, whether it be wind or hail. Thankfully, no tornado reports, but a lot of them as you look across the DFW area into parts of Arkansas, northern parts of Louisiana, and then a couple of reports down there in Del Rio. Did have a pretty big storm move out of Mexico last night. Moved just to the north of Del Rio, produced some severe weather there. We didn't see anything here in San Antonio. And right now we're looking at cloudy skies, humid conditions, 72 at the airport, 73 Stinson, 72 Kelly. Not a lot of wind out there. And a lot of 70s on the map this morning. It has not cooled down at all. Other than if you go west. Notice Junction's at 56. Air's a lot drier up there, and some of that dry air is going to be working in our direction today. 72 Randolph, 70 Rio Medina, 68 right now Bernie Stage, and dew points are right around 70, which puts us very much in the muggy, if not oppressive category. It's extremely sticky. If you're going for the morning run, know that humidity is going to be with us several hours here before the dry air starts to pour in. And I think that happens probably around lunchtime. You really start to see those dew points fall off, and then by 6 o'clock, dry air is shoved into most of South Texas. We get good westerly winds. The combination of those two things allows temperatures to soar this afternoon. It also gives us a high fire danger for those west and northwest of San Antonio. Red flag warnings issued not only there, but basically all of West Texas is under the gun today for, unfortunately, another day of some potential wildfires. Dew point tracker shows the air gets even drier as we head into Thursday, probably our driest day, and then we start to rebound a little bit. It's probably not until Sunday, though, that you really feel the humidity once again. Forecast temperatures today, and this is going to be sort of the big story. 83 by noontime, and by this afternoon, 95 here in San Antonio. That would be a record. Some places will be even warmer than that. Could a few spots south and west of town get up to close to 100? Possible. Summer-like heat today, but only lasts a day because we get a front coming through. That's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Front blows through. We get gusty winds, cooler temperatures by noontime tomorrow. We're only around 70. Highs tomorrow will only be around 80. Much, much better. And we get great weather to finish out the week. So you see the big difference here. Yes, 95 today, but highs only around 80 Wednesday, Thursday. Even Friday will be nice, and morning lows will be in the 40s. Just the way we like it for Fiesta. 48 Thursday morning, 46 Friday morning. We mentioned Battle of Flowers. By the time that gets started, probably in the 60s, dry air, clear skies, great stuff. Fiesta Flambeau looks pretty good too. We will get some rain chances back in the forecast, though, Sunday into Monday.
Well, let's see if we can go 3-0 on parades weather-wise.
Yeah.
Sure looking good. I think our odds are actually really good.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
We love the news. Thank you, Justin.
5:53, about 72 degrees.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide there. There's looking at I-37 and I-10. At that shot, looked pretty good. Looking at Highway 90 at Couples, things are moving right now. We'll be right back.
Aline is billed as a fiction freely inspired by the life of Celine Dion.
Céline, c'est vraiment toi qui chante là-dessus? Aline.
The biofic was written, directed by, and stars Valérie Lemercier.
I wanted to be at the side. I didn't want to name, because she's alive. She's younger than me. She's most beautiful, most famous than me. So it was not possible for me to keep the real names.
Vous m'avez pas perdu. C'est l'amour qui a gagné, puis c'est tout. Moi aussi, je sais le faire.
With roles in front of and behind the camera, Lemercier says the hardest part was after filming was complete.
It was not for performing, because performing was not difficult. But it was the editing. We spent 9 months because I directed the movie too, and write it and of course edit it.
When you call me.
Le Mercier recently won Best Actress at the César Awards, France's equivalent to the Oscars, for her performance. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Ahead in the next hour, Good Morning San Antonio. The Spurs are in Denver tonight to take on the Nuggets. Each game getting more and more important for the Silver and Black as the season winds down. We've got a game day preview. And USAA warning members about a scam going on right now. We'll tell you everything you need to know. This morning, a scam alert we want to tell you about involving USAA. We'll tell you how to better protect your information.
I'm ABC's Emwin in Washington. President Zielinski is set to address the UN Security Council in the wake of new evidence of atrocities against Ukrainian civilians at the hand of Russian troops. The latest coming up.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we're at 71 degrees for now, but we're looking to get to the 90s today.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to you. Rise and shine. It is Tuesday, April 5th.
Thanks for joining us today. Happy Tuesday and happy Fiesta continues with Nyosa.
Got lucky last night. The storms didn't get within 100 miles of San Antonio at all. Justin Horn is in for Mike this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We did have one warning yesterday. I was out near Del Rio, dropped a little bit of hail, but stayed right there around Del Rio and fell apart. So that was it. That's all we got. We do need the rain. We try to avoid the severe weather. And it was quiet yesterday. It turned out to be really nice for the river parade. Now, here's what to expect today. Things changed a little bit. We get some dry air in here, clearing skies, some record heat. If you're not ready for summer temperatures, look away. It's not going to be pretty today. Good news, it's only a day because we get a cold front coming in tomorrow. Windy and cooler on your Wednesday, and then by Thursday and Friday, beautiful weather. We got lows in the 40s, highs near 80. It's going to be fantastic to round out the work week. 67 Fredericksburg right now, 64 Uvalde, but we're still in the 70s here in San Antonio, still very muggy outside. 70 in Boulevardy, 73 in New Braunfels, 73 down there in Pleasanton. And our forecast for today, clouds begin to go away by 9 a.m. We're at 72. We'll probably dip a couple more degrees and then warm back up by noontime, 83. And then by 5 p.m., we're at 95 degrees. There is a very, very small chance of a stray storm south of San Antonio, but not likely. It's hot. Clear skies. And if you're heading out to Nyosa tonight, it is going to be hot to start, but thankfully it does cool down some. 86 by 8 p.m., 79 by the time things are winding down. And we'll get clear skies here across the board. And speaking of Nyosa, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of traffic around downtown tonight, Stephen.
Yeah.
But how are things looking right now?
Well, unfortunately, in the minutes that you were just talking, Justin, our friends over at TransGuide got us a shot of 35 North at Loop 410. Let's get a closer look because what you can see there is they're trying to get us a clear picture. There is some sort of box trailer that looks like it went off the road. And in the moments that Justin was talking about the forecast, we did see first responders that were just arriving to the scene. And again, our friends at TransGuide getting us a view of the conditions out there. And we can see that traffic is now starting to pick up and we see more first responders out in the distance. But again, that is possibly going to be an issue again right here, 35 northbound there at Loop 410. We're going to watch it closely and give you those updates in just a moment. But we do have a stall not too far from there, 410 northbound at Old Pearsall Road. That's not causing any problems. But pardon me, check those vehicles before you get out on the roadways. Wide look at the map doesn't show any other problems, so that's some good news. But we know we're entering the 6 a.m. hour with problems already showing themselves out on the road. 28 minutes, so if you are traveling into San Antonio from Pleasanton to downtown, 19 minutes from Highway 90 in Castroville in those eastbound lanes, and 17 coming in from 35 in Lytle. And again, more first responders making their way out here to 35 North right there at Loop 410. We're going to watch this area closely and give you more updates as the morning does roll on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Police need your help finding a man wanted on several charges who is believed to be in San Antonio. Sarah Acosta is live in the studio with what we know about him so far. Sarah?
Good morning, Stephanie. This man has a long list of charges he is wanted for. One, for making terroristic threats. Just take a look at your screen to see if you recognize this man. This is 38-year-old Joaquin Salgado. From his mugshot, you can see he has a dark beard and a shaved head. The Texas Department of Public Safety says Salgado is believed to be in San Antonio, possibly near the Tesoro Hills area. That's on the city's southwest side near Pearsall Park. DPS says Salgado is wanted for several charges, including failing to register as a sex offender, human smuggling, assault, and for making terroristic threats. So if you know where he is, you're urged to call this number, 210-531-2280, and let authorities know his location. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. USA warning members of fraudsters. It says someone is pretending to be from the bank is calling people and trying to get them to share passwords and other personal information. A reminder, USA says they will never call or email you and ask for your PIN number, passwords, or other personal information. When in doubt, call the number on USA's website yourself. We'll have much more on this story coming up in the next half hour of GMSA.
And some other top stories we're following. Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski and Mitt Romney say they will vote to confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's historic nomination to the Supreme Court, giving President Joe Biden's nominee a new burst of bipartisan support to become the first black woman on the high court. The senators from Alaska and Utah announced their decisions Monday evening ahead of a procedural vote that advanced the nomination to the full Senate. Democrats are pushing to confirm Jackson by the end of the week.
The United Nations sounding the alarm on global warming. The third and final installment of the 6th UN Intergovernmental Panel's climate change report says the world is heading toward an environmental disaster. The UN Secretary General says the report indicates the global temperature could surpass 3 Celsius degrees warmer than pre-industrial levels by the end of this century. The report also says solutions like wind and solar in their current forms are robust enough to help prevent that fate from coming true. It goes on to blame politics and fossil fuel interests for standing in the way.
Horrifying scenes of death and destruction left behind in war-torn cities outside the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv after Russian troops withdrew into other parts of the country.
The Kremlin is calling the images a hoax as President Biden and NATO allies vow to impose new sanctions against Russia.
ABC's M1 has the latest from Washington.
Good morning. Evidence is mounting of atrocities against Ukrainian civilians at the hand of Russian soldiers. This morning, Ukrainian President Zielinski set to address the UN Security Council in the wake of alleged widespread killings of Ukrainian civilians by Russian troops, Zielinski calling it a genocide. It comes a day after his visit to the Kyiv suburb of Bucha, where bodies of civilians were left scattered across streets and buildings, some blindfolded and shot at close range. Authorities saying more than 400 people were killed when Russian troops occupied the city. Russia denying responsibility, saying the surfacing images are staged. President Biden is vowing to impose more sanctions against Russia and says Vladimir Putin should be tried for war crimes.
He is a war criminal. This guy is brutal. And what's happening in Bucha is outrageous, and everyone's seen it.
France and Germany are now expelling dozens of Russian diplomats. French President Emmanuel Macron is calling on the European Union to consider sanctions against Russian oil and coal. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
In your morning consumer headlines, rising oil and gas prices may be pushing Exxon into record profits. The company now says its first quarter results may be the best in at least 7 years.
As prices for just about everything continue to rise, shoppers are starting to cut back in more places. Wall Street Journal says consumers are now shifting the way they buy household staples, which are typically resistant to inflation. Now some shoppers are starting to buy in smaller quantities and even switching brands.
The developer of Fortnite has just ended its 2-week fundraising drive for Ukraine relief efforts. Epic Games says $144 million in proceeds from the game will be going to several aid groups, including the United Nations Children's Fund and the World Food Program.
A new perk for Google employees who are now used to working from home: free scooters. The company offering full reimbursement for the monthly fee of an electric scooter that retails for about $1,000. Well, the big news in the sports world this morning: a winner has been crowned in the 2022 NCAA men's basketball tournament. First-ranked Kansas Jayhawks edged the 8th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. Final score: Kansas wins 72-69 to win a national title. Congratulations to the Jayhawks.
And time now, about 6:09 and 71 degrees for now.
A Houston area startup is getting set to send a group of astronauts to space. We'll have details a little later on right here on GMSA.
Also just ahead, the latest on a cargo ship that's been stuck for weeks off the coast of Maryland and the efforts to free it.
And don't forget, we've got another Fiesta medal giveaway coming up in this hour of Good Morning San Antonio, so stick around.
And a quick look outside with a live cam. A humid 71 degrees this morning, and later today, prepare for that heat. A voyage to nowhere continues to create problems off the coast of Maryland. A cargo ship hasn't budged in weeks.
And now a law from 1890 is being invoked in an effort to free it. Here's ABC's Mono Kassar Abdi.
This morning, efforts to free the cargo ship, the Ever Forward, are taking a big step backwards. The ship has been launched in the Chesapeake Bay for nearly 1 month. It ran aground after making a wrong turn while traveling from Baltimore to Virginia. It's stuck in the mud, about 18 feet of it. One expert spoke to ABC's Kenneth Moten.
You have a ship that draws 42 feet of water. That's how much water she needs to float. And she's in about 24 feet of water, so she's well stuck in the mud.
Attempts to free the Ever Forward failed, even after crews dug out 84,000 cubic yards of mud from around the ship. So now crews say they need to remove all those cargo containers sitting on the ship, nearly 5,000 of them, before they can try again to free the ship.
In the industry, they call them boxes, so they'll take the boxes off. Probably going to take off fuel, I would think. Perhaps ballast water, but who knows? They're going to make the ship lighter, and if they make it lighter, they're hoping to float.
The Ever Forward is reportedly the largest ship to ever get stuck in the Chesapeake Bay. And that name, Evergreen, on the side may look familiar. That's because the ship is owned by the same company as the Ever Given, which blocked the Suez Canal in Egypt for nearly 1 week last year, disrupting global trade. In this case, the company is now invoking an old maritime law requiring people who own cargo on the ship to help pay the cost to free it. That cargo includes Tracy Alloway's home furniture.
The entire contents of my former apartment, basically everything that my husband and I have in the entire world.
Mono Kassar Abdi, ABC News, New York.
Just shy of 6:15.
A lot of problems there at I-35 and Loop 410. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Thank you, Mark. Stephanie, it does look like first responders have closed off a portion here on I-35 North at Loop 410 there at the connecting ramp. Want to step out of this image and show you what our friends at TransGuide are showing us. What we are seeing is a small cargo truck, if you can make it out where that flashing light is, a yellow flashing light, went off the road there, and you can see that first responders have arrived on the scene. We actually even have some folks out there that are on the roadways working to investigate and find out exactly what happened. But of course, we are seeing more people getting out on the roadways, not seeing so many vehicles to where we're seeing a slowdown. But of course, you got to take it easy out there this morning. I-35 northbound at Loop 410 is where that's been picked up. We're going to label that as a crash as of right now until we get more information. But we're not seeing it cause so much of an issue again with traffic in those northbound lanes. Let's take a drive over here. We still have this stall off of 410 northbound at Old Pearsall Road. And as I just drove over there, we see a little bit of another issue with a stall there off of 410. So again, make sure you're checking those vehicles before you get out on the roadways. But we are going to watch that crash closely and of course give you those updates. But for the latest on all those closures and of course your commute, you can scan this QR code that will take you directly to the KSAT traffic page. Justin.
Thank you, sir. Let's talk about headed to school this morning. Bus stops. If you're heading out there, it's warm and humid, 70 degrees, cloudy and muggy. But take a look at the afternoon high, close to 94 degrees when school's letting out. Sunny skies, westerly winds will be kicking in 10 to 20 miles per hour. So definitely a short and t-shirt kind of day. That's going to be the trend across all of South Texas this afternoon. It's also been very dry. Drought conditions continue. It's 61 days now since we've had at least a quarter of an inch of rain or more, and only 4.55 since October 28th. So we are in sort of a dire situation here, quite honestly. We need some rain in the worst way. We didn't get any yesterday. And checking in on the aquifer this morning, did actually drop below 650. What does that mean? Nothing for now. We're still in stage 1. We're going to watch the 10-day rolling average. This is the important number. If it drops below 650, then we move into stage 2, which is once a week watering, 7 to 11 a.m. and 7 to 11 p.m. So not too much changes between stage 1 and stage 2, but just a little bit of the timing there. But we are headed in the wrong direction when it comes to the aquifer. And as we go outside for you right now, no rain this morning. We've just got cloudy skies, 71 degrees at the airport. Southwesterly winds at about 6 miles per hour and a dew point of 68. Still very warm in places like New Braunfels, Gonzales, low 70s there. Temperatures drop off a little bit as you go west. There is some drier air, and that is allowing temperatures to fall just a little bit more. 68 in Hondo, 64 Uvalde, 70 Bulverde, 71 Port SA, 68 in Rio Medina, and dew points, as we mentioned, in the 70s. But that dry air is going to shove in here today. So as we go later into the afternoon, the dry line moves east. We get a westerly wind plus dry air. Those two things combined will allow those temperatures to just soar. And we're going to see some records, I think, broken today. With gusty westerly winds and dry air, there's a red flag warning. I mean, there's a high fire threat again today across the hill country. And I think that red flag warning is probably going to be issued for San Antonio and points east coming up tomorrow as gusty winds kick in with a cold front. Here's a look at the forecast with regards to the temperature. 83 by noontime today. And we're up around 95 for high this afternoon. Some places even warmer than that. The record is 93 here in San Antonio, set back in 1936. Definitely in jeopardy. And then by tomorrow, here's where things change, and for the better. We get a cold front early tomorrow morning. That slides through. Here comes the cooler air. By noontime tomorrow, we're only around 70. Highs tomorrow will only be around 80. We'll have gusty winds, though. Keep that in mind. Winds could gust as high as 40 miles per hour tomorrow morning as that front comes through out of the northwest, and then they'll slowly relax a little bit as we get into tomorrow night. So here's how it looks in the 7-day forecast. 95 today, but 80 tomorrow with those windy conditions, high fire danger. 48 Thursday morning, 79 for a high Thursday, 46 Friday morning with a high of 82. Battle of Flowers looks incredible. The weather should shape up to be really nice. Same for Fiesta Flambeau, and then some chances of rain return by Sunday and Monday.
Looks good for the parades.
Yeah, Friday looks fantastic. I mean, there will be zero for anybody to complain about. It's just going to be a good day.
It's going to be nice.
Yes, it is. And we hope you join us Friday for our parade coverage right here on KSAT. A Vanguard at 8:55, parade at 9:30, all live. 6:19 right now, 71 degrees.
And with just a handful of games left, every game is crucial for our San Antonio Spurs as they fight for a playoff berth. We're going to have a preview of their matchup tonight with the Nuggets.
Introducing your 2022 Fiesta Royalty, powered by Silverado and your local San Antonio area Chevy dealers.
Hi, I'm Augie Cortez, Rayfeo 73. Viva Fiesta!
Meet this year's reigning El Rayfeo 73.
I'm just a guy that loves my family, my sons, my friends. I love to work. I'm a barbecue beer guy. I've got my 2 restaurants here in town, and people ask me all the time, what's your favorite thing to do? And you always, cold beer and barbecue, you can't go wrong.
And his message to kids when his court visits area schools?
I always ask the students to point to your heads, empower your mind, and then point to your heart and always be kind. We also believe that part of an education is also reminding each other to be ladies and gentlemen with each other.
The one thing this year's Rayfeo can claim that no other past kings can, participating in the Mardi Gras celebrations in New Orleans.
We were involved with the Bacchus Parade, and it's incredible. It's a fiesta on steroids with double-decker buses, hordes and hordes of beads thrown out into the audience. It was definitely an experience of a lifetime.
And with Fiesta being a party with a purpose, Rayfeo has an interesting view of the 10-day celebration.
I like to say it like this. We go out into the community. We talk to these students about going to school and going to college. When they come back from college, what do you think they do during Fiesta? They all come back to Fiesta and enjoy themselves with all the different events that we host. So it's this cycle that our city has created that I'm so madly in love with. It's really cool.
Away from his royal duties, Rayfeo loves to spend time in his garden.
The one thing I love to do after a long day is go home, get my water hose, and water all my plants. I'm a big plant guy. I love to harvest tomatoes, fresh chilies. That's my way to relax and wind down.
Trilogy for COPD.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on.
If you've been playing down your COPD,
It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
it's time to make a stand.
Start a new day with Trelegy.
And I'm feeling good.
No once daily COPD medicine has the power to treat COPD in as many ways as Trelegy. With 3 medicines in 1 inhaler, Trelegy helps people breathe easier and improves lung function. It also helps prevent future flare-ups. Trelegy won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Do not take Trelegy more than prescribed. Trelegy may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur. Take a stand and start a new day with Trelegy. Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy and save at Trelegy.com.
Good morning and welcome back. Our San Antonio Spurs are in Denver tonight, starting their final 4 games of the regular season. Can you believe it? Spurs are fighting to secure the 10th and final play-in position with a chance to possibly move up to number 9. That's following losses by both the Pelicans and the Lakers Sunday. Now, any combination of Spurs wins or Lakers losses guarantees the Spurs, at the very least, the 10th and final play-in position. So tip-off between the Spurs and Nuggets, 8 o'clock tonight up in Denver. The Nuggets currently sit in 5th place in the West and are looking to clinch a playoff spot. It should be a good one.
And go Spurs go.
Go Spurs go.
Time now, 6:25 and 71 degrees for now. And still ahead on GMSA, we're going to tell you about a scam warning for USAA members and how you can protect your information.
And our Fiesta medal giveaway continues this morning. We have not yet announced the location for today's giveaway. Guess what? It's coming up before the top of the hour, so stick around for that.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide. Still problems there at I-35 at Loop 410. We'll be checking in with Stephen Cavazos after the break.
The war in Eastern Europe continues, and now Russia is facing new allegations and accusations over civilian deaths. We'll explain.
And this morning, the search is on for a man police believe is in the San Antonio area. We're going to have those details.
There were showers and storms in parts of our area last night, but they were on the fringes. A storm didn't get even within 100 miles of the Texas Cavaliers River Parade, and that is a good thing. We timed it out just right. So thank you, Mother Nature. Good morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 5th.
Thanks for joining us. The weather worked out, yesterday, and it's going to work out again today. It's just going to be a little hot for Niosa.
Now, Justin says the closest the storms got last night was Del Rio area?
Del Rio. We had a warning there. Other than that, it was quiet, just sort of cloudy and humid. And we're going to combine 2 things we love here, dogs and Fiesta.
Fantastic.
Doesn't get much better than that. Take a look at this KSAT Connect picture from Rick. This is Alvin. He's ready for Fiesta. Yes, we love it. All those Fiesta pictures, if you have some from last night's River Parade, send them in to KSAT Connect. We'll pop them up here. Rick, we appreciate this picture. That is awesome. Forecast for Niosa tonight at 5 p.m. That's not a typo. 95 degrees. It is going to be a warm one. It's going to be a dry heat, but hot nonetheless. And then by 8 p.m., a quick cool down, 86 degrees. Because we have dry air, temperatures will fall into the 70s by 10 p.m., which is a little more comfortable. Weather's great as we finish out the week, though. And if you have plans to head out to Niosa, say Thursday, the weather's going to cooperate beautifully. 69 degrees right now in Kerrville, 68 Hondo, 72 Gonzales, 73 Pleasanton. It's 71 right now here in San Antonio, 68 Bernie Stage, and 67 up there at Lost Maples. We do still have some morning clouds and some morning humidity, but that quickly gets out of here. And we'll see some record heat this afternoon. The record high is 93 today. We're forecasting 95, so we just showed you. Tomorrow, cold front comes through, so that brings the relief. Windy and cooler tomorrow, but it also brings the fire danger. We'll get some gusty winds, gusts to 40 possible tomorrow morning. And then Thursday through Friday, as we mentioned, beautiful. Lows into 40s, highs near 80. Some great April weather. Question is, how is that morning commute looking? Is it also great? Let's check in with Stephen for the latest there.
Wish we had something cool to report, Justin. Unfortunately, 35 north at Loop 410 is looking like a problem spot. Not much has changed. If you're just waking up with us, a crash has been reported in that area, and you can see that we have a line of first responders that are out there working to assist and investigate exactly what happened out there, but we aren't seeing so much of an impact when it comes to traffic. However, keep in mind, it was initially reported over here on the northeast side. TxDOT has since updated that crashes of 616 to Loop 410 eastbound right there at I-35. So not too far originally where it was pinpointed, but watch out and make sure you check those vehicles because we're seeing a few stalls that are popping up here. Loop 410 northbound at Old Pearsall Road has been there for quite a while. Did see some flashing lights out there. We'll find out what's happening and see how that impacts drive time. But let's get that wide look at the map at 632. And as I mentioned, stalls seem to be that trending problem. And we are seeing a slight slowdown in these westbound lanes of I-10 that's coming in from Seguin to downtown San Antonio. But not really seeing a lot of slowdowns elsewhere. 28 minutes so if you are coming in from 281 and Bulverde and there along I-10 and Seguin, we're looking at 41 minutes. So it is going to take you a little while to get to downtown San Antonio, especially if you're traveling in from Seguin. I-35 north at Loop 410. Again, this is the problem spot here in town. We're going to watch it closely and have more updates coming up a little bit later on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. San Antonio police say a domestic disturbance appears to have led to a shooting this morning. They are investigating this case at a home on the city's east side.
Katrina Weber is there in the 500 block of Porter Avenue near North New Braunfels with a live report. And Katrina, have police made any arrests?
Well, they told us that they have a woman who they are calling a person of interest in custody. They're questioning her right now inside this home. They've been here since about 5 this morning. That's when the shooting happened. The victim also is a woman, 29 years old. She was taken to the hospital with what police say were non-life-threatening injuries, that she was shot in the top of her shoulder near her neck. Now, they do tell us that there was some sort of a domestic disturbance going on inside the house when the victim was shot. And again, the woman who they have in custody is 26 years old. They're questioning her, trying to get her version of what happened. It seems that police have not been able to get too much information from the victim because she was rushed to the hospital. But again, they are still inside that house right now as we speak. And they tell us that they are not calling her a suspect just yet, and nor have they made any arrest at this time. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Beware of fraudsters. That's the message this morning from USAA. Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio to tell us about a scam involving the San Antonio-based insurance and banking giant. Sarah.
Good morning, Mark. Yeah, USAA is alerting the public that there is a scam pretending to be USAA to get your personal information. So here's what we know about this scam so far. It says someone pretending to be from the bank is calling people, then trying to get them to share passwords and other personal information. According to USAA, the fraudsters are asking if you have made any large out-of-state charges. When you reply no, the scammers then say your account has been compromised. That's when they'll ask for passwords to make updates. The fraudsters may even be using spoofing software to make it appear that they are calling from USAA's 1-800 number. A reminder, USAA says it will never call you or email you and ask for your PIN number, password, or other personal details. So when in doubt, call the number on USAA's website yourself to make sure you're not being scammed. So while USAA says it uses sophisticated detection processes, they are asking members to monitor their account activity on a regular basis. Mark and Stephanie.
Sarah, thank you. Investigators need your help finding a wanted man. Texas Department of Public Safety says 38-year-old Joaquin Salgado is believed to be here in San Antonio, possibly in the Tesoro Hills area. That's on the southwest side near Pearsall Park. Now, DPS says Salgado is wanted for failing to register as a sex offender, human smuggling, assault, and a terroristic case. If you know where he is, call 210-531-2280.
And turning now to coronavirus, we remain in the low-risk category here in Bexar County. 59 new cases and 1 new death were reported yesterday. The New York Times reported that nationwide, a majority of COVID-19 medications are sitting unused. However, infectious disease specialist Dr. Barbara Taylor hasn't seen that, at least within the UT Health San Antonio system.
We found it very useful for our immunocompromised patients. So people who had a kidney transplant or people who are on treatment for a rheumatologic disease that suppresses their immune system.
And one of those medications is Evusheld, a mix of monoclonal antibodies used to prevent COVID-19. Dr. Taylor says the government has created a website for providers to find out which pharmacies have certain medications.
This Tuesday morning, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is under new scrutiny. A month-long sweeping review of the agency is set to begin next week.
The director says it could result in restructuring. That news comes the same day as the announcement of a bipartisan plan for COVID-19 relief.
CNN's Amy Kiley reports that funding bill would not send any money to the CDC directly.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is used to scrutinizing science. Now the agency itself is under the microscope. Director Dr. Rochelle Zielinski says the Department of Health will conduct a sweeping review starting next Monday. In a memo to staff, Zielinski says it's to improve how the agency communicates with the public and consider a restructuring. That news comes the same day as a bipartisan deal Senator Mitt Romney helped negotiate for his chamber. It's for $10 billion of COVID relief money. The measure would fund therapeutics like oral antiviral pills, and it would support vaccines, testing, and research. What it would not do is send money directly to the CDC. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he wants to vote on the measure this week.
On COVID, very briefly, over the last few days, my Democratic colleagues and I continued talks with Senator Romney and Republicans, working all hours of the night and into the weekend.
This is clearly a huge focus for the president because of the dire need we have at this moment to get this funding through.
The White House says it would like more money in the plan.
Even as we're very encouraged by the progress, we're going to need more because our objective here is to make sure we can have funding for antivirals, the vaccines needed for people for many months to come.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And some other top stories this morning. Russia is facing a fresh wave of condemnation after what appear to be deliberate killings of civilians in Ukraine. Some Western leaders called for further sanctions in response to the allegations. Germany's defense minister suggested the European Union discuss a ban on Russian gas imports. Ukrainian officials say the bodies of more than 400 civilians were found in towns around the capital. So you can look for the latest on this story on Good Morning America beginning at 7.
International Space Station is about to get a little more crowded. That's because Houston-based startup Axiom Space will launch its first all-private astronaut team on Friday. 4 men will carry supplies to conduct 26 experiments on board before returning to Earth 10 days later. This will be the first all-commercial team of astronauts to use the space station for its intended purpose, a laboratory.
And back here at home, Fiesta is in full swing, and it was a magical night on the Riverwalk. The 2022 Texas Cavaliers River Parade brought in a huge crowd.
Sure did. Float after float decked out in lights and music. Whether you're from San Antonio or just stopping by, the parade was fun for all.
And the money raised by the Texas Cavaliers Charitable Foundation goes to support over 70 children's charities. All right, 12 service members, 1,200 first responders, and 800 children were invited to watch last night's parade for free. And starting tonight, a night in Old San Antonio, or Niosa, will welcome Fiesta crowds through Friday. The food and fun will raise money to help conserve historic properties and advocate for education. Now, yesterday, organizers hung the rain rock in hopes of warding off any bad weather for Niosa. It's a tradition that started back in the 70s. Right now on our website, everything you need to know about changes at Niosa this year. It will be back at La Villita. Gates open at 5:30 and close at 10:30 p.m. each night. There will be plenty of food, music, and drinks. And coming up after the break, the secret location of our Fiesta Meadow giveaway happening today. And time now, 6:40 and 70 degrees for now. With gas prices at an all-time high, home projects are getting more and more expensive. Just ahead on GMSA, tips to navigate your plans. Welcome back at 6:44. With gas prices at an all-time high, home projects are getting more expensive. In this morning's Ask Andy segment, we have some tips on navigating home projects with rising gas prices.
High gas prices are already starting to affect both pros and homeowners. Pros use gas to travel to different job locations and for some of their equipment, which means many of them will have to raise their prices since the cost of running their businesses just got more expensive. If you're a homeowner, the best thing you can do right now if you're taking on a project is open a great line of communication with your pro. And before you start your project,
ask your pro if there are any price increases or fees that you need to be aware of.
Now, some pros add the extra cost straight into their quotes, while others are charging additional transportation fees. So make sure you're very clear about pricing to avoid any surprises later.
Try to add some extra wiggle room into your budget to account for the higher prices of gas. When we talk to our pros, about 75% of them, according to a recent poll that we did, said that they do plan on increasing their prices due to these new higher gas costs. So you'll need to create a new budget that takes that into account. If you're not sure how much extra to budget, talk to a couple of the pros that you regularly hire and see what they're planning to do.
And you can save on transportation costs by bundling your projects together. For example, if you need to repaint a bedroom and your kitchen cabinets, get them done at the same time. This will decrease the pro's time driving, which will lower the overall cost of your project.
Finally, Angie's says to book local. The farther the pro has to travel, the higher prices will be. Try booking a local pro in your area to save on those transportation costs. Well, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for this morning very patiently. The secret location of our Fiesta Middle giveaway is about to not be a secret anymore.
Starting at 8 a.m., you can get a KSAT Fiesta medal at the HEB at 2929 Thousand Oaks. That's near Highway 281.
Sure is. First come, first served. Medals will be given out while supplies last, so try to get in line there early before you head off to work or school. Again, 2929 Thousand Oaks.
And hopefully the traffic will be okay at that time. But let's go ahead and check in with the traffic right now with Stephen Cavazos.
Well, at 6:46, I wish I had better news to report. 35 north at Loop 410. This is one of the problem spots this morning. As we get a look at TransGuide, it doesn't appear that much progress has been made in terms of clearing this up. In fact, it looks like we do have a few more first responders that are out there. Now, what we're looking at is a small cargo truck that went off the road. You can't really make it out from this shot at TransGuide because there are plenty of flashing lights out there. So we're hoping that the driver is okay and that we can see the end of this pretty soon before more people get out on the roadways. But we got to start here. Loop 1604 westbound at Northwest Military Highway. This is the latest crash to come in. We're not seeing an impact in the westbound lanes just yet, but a slight buildup happening a little bit further back. So just watch out over there. But the big issue is going to be right over here again off Loop 410 eastbound at I-35, where we do have that stretch of traffic that's continuing to build in the eastbound lanes of Loop 410. And also seeing a slight slowdown as we drive over here. Looks like that it's also improved, I-10 westbound at Greytown Road, where we had a little bit of a buildup of traffic that was causing, again, a slowdown coming into downtown San Antonio. Elsewhere, it looks like morning rush is here. We're going to watch the roads closely, but as always, make sure you do the same. Guys.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you. And Justin, looking forward to a hot NIOSA.
Yes, it will be very hot. We're expecting temperatures to jump up into the 90s today.
Watch out, Courtney Friedman.
Yeah, I know.
Right over your right shoulder.
There you go.
Okay, now
we're good. 95 degrees. That is the forecast high, and that would be a record, by the way. Record is 93, set way back in 1936. We're forecasting to eclipse that today. But the good news is just one day thing, right? Because our front comes through tomorrow. Temperatures will be much cooler on Wednesday and Thursday. Highs near 80. We can deal with that. That's right about average. 82 Friday. And the weekend looks okay too. We'll get a little more moisture by the end of the weekend and into early next week. I want to show you the satellite radar as it stands right now. Severe weather still ongoing across parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. That is shifting east, but not before leaving a stretch here of severe weather reports from the Metroplex all the way into Louisiana. There was a lot of flooding around Dallas this morning, some hail damage there. They really got walloped by some of those storms. We'd had a few reports yesterday down around Del Rio with some storms, but nothing here in San Antonio. And things are pretty quiet right now. We're sitting at 71 degrees at the airport, 73 Stinson, 70 at Kelly, and 71 at Randolph. Southwesterly winds pretty light at this point, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Winds will pick up a little bit today, more so out of the west. That draws in some dry air. 64 Uvalde, an indication that there is drier air out west, so temperatures are allowed to fall a little bit more. 69 Kerrville, 70 Comfort, 69 right now in Bulverde. Dew points are in the 60s and 70s. It's muggy right now. That does change too. We'll see this drier air punch in by, I'd say, noontime. You'll start to feel the air it'll feel more dry with dew points in the 40s and even teens. So the air is dry enough out across the hill country, and we'll get gusty enough winds where there is a fire threat today. Those counties outlined in pink, but really the entire area, because we've been in drought. there is a risk for grass fires. And I think that probably picks up a little bit more tomorrow with some gusty winds in the forecast thanks to a cold front. So let's look at temperatures here. 83 noontime. There's your 95 this afternoon. Some places even warmer than that down to the south of San Antonio. And I do have to point out there are a couple models that want to develop a stray shower or storm this afternoon south of San Antonio. Possible, not likely, but possible. We have a 10% chance in forecast for that. Tomorrow morning, here comes our front. We're in the 60s, and then we only make it to close to 70 by lunchtime. Highs tomorrow only around 80. Gets better, but we just got to get through today. I mentioned those winds, gusty winds. We could see some gusts up to 40 miles per hour. That's not today, that's tomorrow. And the winds will slowly die down as we get later into the day tomorrow. But a breezy to windy day. And that means there's a high fire danger there on Wednesday. 79 Thursday, 82 Friday. We'll be at 85 Saturday. Morning lows in the 40s. So just a fantastic end to the work week and going into the weekend. Can't ask for better weather for Fiesta, and then rain chances return Sunday and Monday. And we're really hoping that we do get some rain because we need it in the worst way.
Yes, we do. Yeah, overall looking pretty good. Folks, just be careful today. Hydrate if possible.
And time now, 6:51 and 70 degrees for now.
Are you packing on the pounds and don't know why? You are not alone. Nearly 2 billion people are overweight. Tomorrow on GMSA, why that weight gain may not be entirely caused by what you are eating.
And taking a look outside with live cam, a humid 70 degrees right now, but we're going to get to the 90s like Justin said. Be prepared this afternoon.
In case you missed it earlier, you have a chance to get one of those highly coveted KSAT Fiesta medals. 8 o'clock this morning, HEB up there on 281 off Thousand Oaks, 2929 Thousand Oaks. First come, first serve. Medals will be given out while supplies last. From what I'm hearing, they do not last long.
No, they don't. And today on GMSA at 9, Courtney Friedman will join us to talk about her latest story that she did, sharing the dark past of a man who admits to being an abuser. However, he has managed to turn his life around for the better.
He hopes that by sharing his story, it will help fix the tragic domestic violence epidemic. Courtney will talk about what went into this story and much more that you did not get to see on TV. That's coming up at 9.
And big problems on I-10 West and Loop 410. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Slow stream of vehicles here. Now let's get a closer look at TransGuide. You can see that a crash is causing some massive slowdowns for drivers that are trying to make their way there off I-10 eastbound at Loop 410. Still seeing a big slowdown over here, Justin, off Loop 410 eastbound at I-35 due to a crash.
Thanks, Stephen. And looking at the forecast today, the big story is going to be the heat. 95, your high temperature. Southwesterly winds 10 to 20. We do have a fire danger in the hill country, fire danger for all of us coming up tomorrow. Windy gusts to 40 on your Wednesday, but cooler. So we'll see some great weather to finish out the work week.
All right, Justin, thank you. Viva Fiesta and go Spurs go.
I know we have a busy day today. Have fun today when it starts. It'll be a hot one. We'll see you back here at 9.
Good Morning America is next.